The village guards surrounded Lawrence inside the hut. "Move," the leader ordered. Lawrence quietly carried his small bag and followed them. As they walked through the village, people stared at him with mockery. Some women laughed. Some men insulted him openly. So this is the poor man disturbing Chief Kingsley's daughter. He should know his place. Lawrence remained silent. Meanwhile, inside the mansion, Tricia was crying bitterly. "Father, please don't send him away," she begged. Chief Kingsley became even angrier. "You are bringing shame to this family, but I love him," Tricia cried out. The whole compound suddenly became silent. Even the servants stopped moving. Chief Kingsley looked at his daughter in disbelief. "Love?" he repeated slowly. "Yes, Father." Chief Kingsley laughed bitterly. "You think love is enough for marriage? Marriage is about respect, wealth, and family honor." Tricia wiped her tears. "Lawrence may be poor today, but he has a good heart." Chief Kingsley pointed angrily toward the gate. "Enough! That boy must leave this village before sunset." Just then, Victor stepped forward with a smile. "Chief Kingsley," he said calmly, "allow me to handle this matter." Chief Kingsley nodded. Victor walked closer to Tricia. "You are making a mistake," he said softly. Tricia turned away. "I do not love you." Those words pierced Victor's heart deeply. His face changed immediately. "If I cannot have you," he whispered coldly, "that poor man will never have you either." Tricia looked at him in shock. Meanwhile, the guards escorted Lawrence to the village boundary. As they reached the old Iroko tree near the river, the leader stopped. "You are lucky the chief did not order us to beat you," he said. Lawrence looked back toward the village sadly. "I never wanted trouble." "Then forget Tricia and leave." The guards turned and walked away. Lawrence stood there alone. He looked at the road ahead of him, then back at the village. Tears gathered in his eyes. Suddenly, he heard footsteps running behind him. "Lawrence?" He turned quickly. It was Tricia, breathing heavily. She finally reached him. "You cannot leave," she cried. Lawrence looked at her with pain. "Your father hates me. I don't care." "Tricia," she held his hands tightly. "I would rather suffer with a poor man I love than live in wealth without happiness." Lawrence was speechless. No one had ever chosen him over riches before. That moment, hidden behind the trees nearby, Victor watched them angrily. His eyes burned with jealousy. Then slowly, he smiled wickedly. "If love is what they want," he muttered, "then suffering is what they will get." And that same night, a dangerous plan began. That night, dark clouds covered the sky above Avita village. Inside his father's compound, Victor sat with 3 dangerous-looking young men. One of them was called Gabby, the most feared troublemaker in the village. Victor poured palm wine into their cups. "I want that poor boy out of Tricia's life forever," he sighed coldly. Gabby smiled. "What do you want us to do?" Victor leaned closer. "Tomorrow night, rob Chief Kingsley's warehouse." The men looked confused. "But why?" Victor's eyes darkened. "We will make it look like Lawrence did it." The men laughed wickedly. "Very smart," Gabby said. Victor smiled proudly. "Once the village sees him as a thief, Tricia will hate him herself." Meanwhile, far away near the riverside, Tricia secretly brought food to Lawrence again. Lawrence was now hiding inside an old fisherman's hut. Tricia sat beside him quietly. "I am sorry for everything happening," she said sadly. Lawrence shook his head. "It is not your fault." For some seconds, both of them remained silent as the cool night breeze blew softly. Then Lawrence spoke. "There is something I have never told you." Tricia looked at him curiously. "What is it?" Lawrence sighed deeply. "My father was once a wealthy trader." Tricia widened her eyes. "What happened?" "He was betrayed by his business partners. We lost everything after his death." Tricia felt pain in her heart. "So you were not born poor?" Lawrence smiled sadly. "Poverty can visit anybody." Tricia looked at him differently that night. She saw not just a poor villager, but a man fighting against life. Suddenly, Lawrence noticed tears in her eyes. "Why are you crying?" Tricia looked away. "I am afraid." "Afraid of what?" "That one day they may separate us forever." Lawrence gently held her hands. "That will never happen." At that same moment, Victor and his gang quietly moved toward Chief Kingsley's warehouse, carrying cutlasses and fire torches. The village was asleep. Dogs barked in the distance. Gabby broke the warehouse door open. Within minutes, they stole bags of yams, money, and expensive goods. Before leaving, Victor dropped one important thing on the ground intentionally. It was Lawrence's old necklace. The same necklace Tricia had admired days earlier. Victor smiled wickedly. "Tomorrow," he whispered, "Lawrence's suffering will begin." And truly, before sunrise, loud cries filled the village. "Thieves? Thieves?" People ran out of their houses in confusion. Chief Kingsley arrived at the warehouse in shock. Then, suddenly, one of the guards bent down and picked something from the floor. "Chief," he said slowly. Everybody turned. "It belongs to Lawrence." Tricia's blood ran cold immediately, because she recognized the necklace too. The entire village gathered around the broken warehouse. Women whispered in fear. Men shook their heads angrily. Chief Kingsley collected the necklace from the guard and looked at it carefully. His face hardened immediately. "This boy has brought disgrace to my village," he said angrily. Tricia quickly stepped forward. "Father, Lawrence cannot steal from you." Chief Kingsley turned sharply. "And how are you so sure?" "Because I know him," Victor immediately interrupted. "You only believe him because you are in love with him." Some villagers nodded in agreement. Tricia looked around helplessly. "This is a setup." She cried, but nobody listened. Chief Kingsley raised his walking stick. "Find Lawrence immediately." Within minutes, village guards spread across Avita searching for him. Meanwhile, Lawrence sat peacefully outside the fisherman's hut, unaware of the danger coming toward him. An old fisherman nearby was teaching him how to repair fishing nets. Suddenly, they heard loud footsteps. Before Lawrence could stand up properly, guards surrounded him. "There he is!" Lawrence became confused. "What happened?" "You are under arrest for robbery." Lawrence froze. "Robbery?" The guards grabbed him roughly. "I did not steal anything," but nobody listened. The old fisherman tried to speak. "This boy has been here since yesterday." One guard pushed the old man aside. "Stay out of this matter." They dragged Lawrence through the village like a criminal. People insulted him openly. "Thief." Poor people are always greedy. Some even threw sand at him. Lawrence lowered his head in shame and pain. Then, suddenly, Tricia ran into the crowd. "Stop," she shouted. She rushed toward Lawrence. "Tell them the truth." Lawrence looked deeply into her eyes. "I swear, I know nothing about the robbery." Tricia believed him immediately. But Chief Kingsley stepped forward angrily. "The evidence is against him." Lawrence looked confused. "What evidence?" Chief Kingsley raised the necklace. "This was found inside my warehouse." Lawrence's eyes widened in shock. "My necklace?" "Yes," Victor replied quickly. "Unless you are saying it walked there by itself." The villagers burst into murmurs. Lawrence's mind raced with confusion. Then suddenly he remembered. The previous evening, while sleeping outside briefly, somebody had brushed against him in the dark. His necklace must have been stolen then. Lawrence immediately looked toward Victor, and for 1 second, Victor smiled. A wicked smile. That was when Lawrence understood. "You framed me," he said quietly. Victor pretended to be angry. "How dare you accuse me?" Chief Kingsley shouted immediately. "Enough." Then he faced the elders. What punishment should a thief receive? An old elder stood up slowly. "According to our tradition, Stealing from the chief is a serious offense. The villagers became silent. The elder continued. The thief must be banished from Avita forever. Tricia screamed immediately. No! But Chief Kingsley had already made up his mind. And as Lawrence looked at Tricia helplessly, he realized that love alone might not be enough to save them.